Hello everyone, today's topic is kidney and suprarenal gland. The kidneys are also called renas, from which we have the derivative renal, and nephros, from which we have the term nephritis. Kidneys are a pair of excretory organs situated on the posterior abdominal wall, one on each side of vertebral column, behind the peritoneum. They remove waste products of metabolism and excess of water and salt from the blood and maintain its pH. The kidneys occupy the epigastric, hypochondric, lumbar and umbilical region. Vertically, they extend from the upper border of 12th thoracic vertebra to the center of the body of 3rd lumbar vertebra. The right kidney is slightly lower than the left, and the left kidney is a little nearer to the median plane. So, the right kidney is slightly lower than the left, and the left is little nearer to the median plane than the right. The transpyloric plane passes through the upper part of hilus of the kidney and through the lower part of the hilus of left kidney. So the transpyloric plane passes through the upper part of hilus of right kidney and through the lower part of hilus of left kidney. Shape, size, weight and orientation. Each kidney is about 11 cm long, 6 cm broad and 3 cm thick. The left kidney is little longer and narrower. Left kidney is little longer and narrower than the right kidney. On an average, the kidney weighs 150 gram in males and 135 gram in females. The kidneys are reddish brown in color. The long axis of the kidney is directed downward and laterally, so that the upper poles are nearer to the median plane than the lower poles. The transverse axis is directed laterally and backwards. In the fetus, the kidney is lobulated and is made up of about 12 lobules. After birth, the lobules gradually fuse so that in adults the kidney is uniformly smooth. However, the evidence of fetal lobulation may persist. External features. Each kidney is bean shaped. It has upper and lower poles, medial and lateral borders, anterior and posterior surfaces. Poles. Upper pole broad and is in close contact with the corresponding suprarenal gland. The lower pole is pointed. Surfaces. Anterior surface irregular and posterior surface flat, but it is often difficult to recognize the anterior and posterior aspect of the kidney by looking at the surfaces. The proper way to do this is to examine the structures present in the hilum. Borders. Lateral border convex, medial border concave. Middle part, medial border shows a depression called hilus or hilum. Hilum. Structures are seen in the hilum from anterior to posterior side, most anteriorly renal vein, then renal artery, then renal pelvis. Renal pelvis, which is the expanded upper end of the ureter. Examination of these structures enables the anterior and posterior aspect of the kidney to be distinguished from each other. As the pelvis is continuous inferiorly with the ureter, the superior and inferior poles of the kidney can also be distinguished by examining the hilum. So, it is possible to determine the side to which a kidney belongs by examining the structures in the hilum. Commonly, one of the branches of renal artery enters the hilus behind the renal pelvis, and a tributary of vein may be found in the same plane. So, this is the diagram of kidney. The hilum transmit from anterior to posterior renal artery, renal vein, Most anteriorly is renal vein, then renal artery, then renal pelvis. This is renal vein, renal artery and renal pelvis. Lymph vessels and sympathetic fibers also pass through the hilum. The renal sinus contains the upper expanded part of the ureter called renal pelvis. Perinephric fat is continuous into the hilum and the sinus and surrounds all these structures. Coverings of kidney. Fibrous capsule. It is closely adherent to its surfaces. Perirenal fat covers the fibrous capsule. Renal fascia. It is a condensation of areolar connective tissue that lies outside the perirenal fat and enclose the kidney and the suprarenal gland. Pararenal fat lies external to the renal fascia, is part of retroperitoneal fat. The fibrous capsule, it is a thin membrane which closely invests the kidney and lines the renal sinus. Normally, it can be easily stripped off from the kidney, but in certain diseases, it becomes adherent and cannot be stripped. So, in this first diagram, this is vertical section through the posterior abdominal wall showing the relationship of the pleura to the kidney. This is pleura and this is kidney and this is fibrous capsule of kidney. Next diagram is transverse section through the lumbar region showing the capsules of kidney. This is kidney and this is green colored marking fibrous capsule. Perirenal or perinephric fat, this is a layer of adipose tissue lying outside the fibrous capsule. It is thickest at the borders of the kidney and fill up the extra space in the renal sinus. Renal fascia. The perirenal fascia was originally described as being made up of two separate layers. Posterior layer was called fascia of Zuckerkandl and anterior layer is fascia of Girotta. These two fascia fuse laterally to form lateral conal fascia. According to this view, lateral conal fascia continued anterolaterally behind colon to blend with parietal peritoneum. But lately it has been researched that the fascia is not made up of fused fascia but of single multilaminated structure which is fused posteromedially with muscular fascia of psoas major and quadratus lumborum muscles. The fascia then extend laterally behind the kidney as bilaminated sheet which divides at a variable point into thin layer which courses around the front of kidney as anterior perirenal fascia and a thicker posterior layer which continues anterolaterally as the lateral conal fascia or posterior perirenal fascia. It was believed earlier that above the suprarenal gland, the anterior posterior perirenal fascia fuse with each other and then get fused to the diaphragmatic fascia, but research presently demonstrates that superior aspect of perirenal space is open and is in continuity to the bare area of liver on the right side and with subphrenic extraperitoneal space on the left side. On the right side at the level of upper pole of kidney, anterior fascia blend with inferior coronary layer and bare area of liver. On the left side, anterior layer fuse with gastrophrenic ligament. Posterior layer on both right and left side fuses with fascia of muscles of posterior abdominal wall, psoas major and quadratus lumborum as well as with fascia on the inferior aspect of thoraco-abdominal diaphragm. Medially, the anterior layer is continuous from one to the other kidney and the posterior layer is attached either side of vertebra. Below, both the layer extend along the ureter and fuse with iliac fascia. Relations of kidney. Anterior relation. The anterior surface of both kidneys are related to numerous structures, some with an intervening layer of peritoneum and others lie directly against the kidney without peritoneum. Anterior relation of left kidney. A small part of superior pole along the medial border is covered by left suprarenal gland. The rest of superior pole is covered by interperitoneal stomach and spleen. The retroperitoneal pancreas cover the middle part. This is middle part of the kidney. The lower lateral part is directly related to the left colic flexure and beginning of descending colon, and its lower medial part covered by interperitoneal jejunum. Right kidney. A small part of the upper pole is covered by right suprarenal gland. The rest of the upper part of anterior surface is related to the liver and is separated by a layer of peritoneum. The second part of duodenum lies directly in front of the kidney close to the hilum, to its hilum. The lower lateral part is directly related to the right colic flexure and on its lower medial side is related to the intraperitoneal small intestine. Posterior relations. Posteriorly, the right and left kidneys are almost related to similar structures. Left kidney posteriorly related with diaphragm, costal diaphragmic recess of pleura, 11th and 12th rib, psoas major, quadratus lumborum, transversus abdominis, iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal nerve. So in this diagram we can see this is psoas major, quadratus lumborum relation of, and this is transversus abdominis, and this is 11th and 12th rib, diaphragm. Right kidney also posteriorly related to diaphragm, costal diaphragm recess of the pleura, 12th rib, last subcostal rib. Psoas major, quadratus lumborum, transversus abdominis, subcostal nerve, iliohypogastric, ilioinguinal nerves. Next is vertebrocostal, or also called as renal angle. The angle between the last rib and lateral border of erector spinae muscle is occupied by kidney and is called the renal angle. The vertebrocostal angle is occupied by the lower part of pleural sac. Internal structure of kidney. Each kidney consists of an outer cortex and inner medulla. The renal cortex is a continuous band of pale tissue that completely surround the renal medulla. Extension of the renal cortex, the renal column project into the inner aspect of kidney, dividing the renal medulla into discontinuous aggregation of triangular shaped tissue, the renal pyramid. The basis of renal pyramid, in this diagram we can see this is cortex, this is medulla, and these are renal pyramids. The basis of, this is renal pyramid, the basis of renal pyramid are directed outward toward the cortex, while the apex of each pyramid project inwards toward the renal sinus. The apical projection, renal papilla, is surrounded by a minor calyx. These are minor calyx. The apical projection, renal papilla, surrounded by minor calyx. In the renal sinus, several minor calyces unite to form major calyces, and 2 or 3 major calyces unite to form renal pelvis, which is funnel shaped superior end of ureter. Arterial supply. The renal artery arises from the aorta at the level of second lumbar vertebra. Each renal artery divides into 5 segmental artery. This is segmental artery that enter the hilum of kidney, 4 in front of the renal pelvis and 1 behind it. They are distributed to the different segments of the kidney. Each segmental artery gave rise to number of lobar artery. These are segmental artery. Each segmental artery gives rise to lobar artery. Each supplies a renal pyramid. So in this diagram we can see this is segmental artery, this is lobar artery and this is renal pyramid. Before entering the renal substance, each lobar artery gives off 2 or 3 interlobar arteries. These are interlobar arteries. The interlobar arteries run towards the cortex on each side of renal pyramid. At the junction of cortex and the medulla, the interlobar arteries give off the arcuate artery. These are arcuate arteries. In this diagram we can see arcuate arteries which arch over the base of the pyramid. The arcuate artery gives off several interlobular arteries that ascend in the cortex and give off the afferent glomerular arteries. These are interlobular arteries. Vascular segments of kidney. The renal artery gives 5 segmental branches, 4 from its anterior division and 1 from its posterior division. The segments are apical, middle and lower on anterior aspect. On posterior aspect, segments seen are posterior and parts of apical and lower segments. Blood supply of kidney from abdominal aorta to renal artery to segmental arteries, then lobar arteries, interlobar arteries, arcuate arteries, interlobular arteries, afferent glomerular arterioles. Venous drainage, inferior vena cava, renal vein, interlobar, arcuate, interlobular veins. Both renal veins drain to the inferior vena cava. The left renal vein is 3 times longer than the right. So, for this region, the left kidney is the preferred site for live donor nephrectomy. It runs from its origin in the renal hilum, posterior to the splenic vein and the body of pancreas, and then across the anterior aspect of aorta, just below the origin of the superior mesenteric artery. The left gonadal vein enters it from below, and the left suprarenal vein, usually receiving one of the left inferior phrenic veins, enters it above but near the midline. The left renal vein enters the inferior vena cava a little above the right vein. Lymphatic drainage. The lymph vessel follow the arteries. Lymph drain to lateral aortic lymph node around the origin of renal artery. Nerve supply is the renal plexus, an offshoot of celiac plexus. It contains sympathetic T10 to L1 fibers which are chiefly vasomotor. The afferent nerves of the kidney belong to segments T10 to T12. Exposure of the kidney from behind. In exposing your kidney from behind, the following layers have to be reflected one by one. Number 1 is skin, then superficial fascia, then posterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia with latissimus dorsi and serratus posterior inferior, erector spinae, which can be removed for convenience, middle layer of thoracolumbar fascia, quadratus lumborum, anterior layer of thoracolumbar fascia in which the related nerves are embedded. So this is the diagram showing transverse section through the upper lumbar region, showing the layers of thoracolumbar fascia encountered during exposure of kidney from behind. Some applied aspect of kidney. In surgical exposure of kidney, when sometimes the 12th rib is resected for easier delivery of kidney, danger of opening the pleural cavity must be borne in mind. The lower border of pleura lies in between the 12th rib and the diaphragm. The order of structures from anterior to posterior side being diaphragm, pleura and rib. When the 12th rib is absent or is too short to be felt, the 11th rib may be mistaken for the 12th, and the chances of opening the pleural cavity are greatly increased. Kidney is palpated bimanually with one hand placed in front and the other hand behind the flank. When enlarged, the lower pole of kidney becomes palpable on deep inspiration. Polycystic kidney. One common congenital condition of kidney is polycystic kidney, which leads to hypertension. The common diseases of kidney are nephritis, pyelonephritis, tuberculosis of kidney, renal stones and tumors. Common manifestations of a kidney disease are renal edema and hypertension. Raised blood urea indicates suppressed kidney function and renal failure. Kidney transplantation can be done in selected cases. In cases of chronic renal failure, dialysis needs to be done. It can be done as peritoneal dialysis or hemodialysis. Kidney is likely to have stone as urine gets concentrated here. Kidney stone lies on the body of vertebra in diagram number B, and gallstones lie anterior to the body of vertebra. Next topic is about suprarenal gland. The suprarenal or adrenal glands are endocrine glands which help to maintain water and electrolyte balance. These also prepare the body for an emergency. These are subjected to hyper or hypofunctioning. Lack of secretion of the cortical part leads to Addison's disease. Excessive secretion causes retention of salt and fluids. Tumor of adrenal medulla or chromocytoma causes persistent severe hypertension. These suprarenal glands, they are yellowish retroperitoneal organs that lie on the upper poles of kidney, in front of the crus of the diaphragm, opposite the vertebral end of 11th intercostal space and the 12th rib. Size, shape, weight. Each gland measures 50 mm in height, 30 mm in breadth and 10 mm in thickness. Weight is 5 gram. Right suprarenal is triangular or pyramidal in shape and the left is semilunar in shape. They are surrounded by renal fascia. This is suprarenal gland surrounded by renal fascia but are separated from the kidney by perineal flat. Each gland has an outer yellow cortex and inner dark medulla. Right suprarenal gland, triangular to pyramid in shape. It has apex, base, two surfaces, anterior, posterior, three border, anterior, medial and lateral. Left suprarenal gland, semilunar in shape, two ends, upper and lower, upper end narrow and lower end rounded, two borders, medial and lateral, two surface, anterior and posterior. Differences in right and left suprarenal gland. Right suprarenal gland pyramidal in shape, left semilunar in shape. Right parts of right suprarenal gland are apex, parts in relation with apex with bar area of liver, base with upper pole of right kidney. In left suprarenal gland, upper end in relation with spleen, lower end in relation with lower and present hilum, left when emerges from here. Anterior surface Inferior vena cava, bare area of liver, posterior surface, right crest of diaphragm, right kidney, and in left suprarenal gland, anterior surface, cardiac end of stomach, pancreas, splenic artery, and posterior surface, left crest of diaphragm, left kidney. Anterior border, it presents hilum, right vein emerges, medial border, celiac ganglion in right and left both, and lateral border in relation with liver in right and in relation with stomach in left. So again, right and left suprarenal gland. Arteries. The arteries supplying each gland are 3 in number: superior, middle, and inferior suprarenal arteries. So in this diagram we can see this is inferior suprarenal artery, this is superior suprarenal, middle suprarenal, and inferior suprarenal artery. Arise from inferior phrenic artery. This is inferior phrenic. From inferior phrenic arises superior suprarenal, and from abdominal aorta arises middle suprarenal and renal artery respectively. Veins, a single vein emerges. This is inferior vena cava. This is left suprarenal gland. This is right suprarenal gland. Right suprarenal gland, right suprarenal vein, left suprarenal gland, left suprarenal vein, and this is left gonadal vein, and this is right gonadal vein. A single vein emerges from the hilum of each gland and drains into the inferior vena cava on the right and into the left renal vein on the left. Nerve supply. Preganglionic sympathetic fibers derived from the splanchnic nerve supply the glands. Most of the nerve and in medulla of the gland. Lymph drainage drains into lateral aortic nodes. Functions. The cortex of suprarenal gland secrete hormones that include mineralocorticoid, which are concerned with the control of fluid and electrolyte balance, glucocorticoid, which are concerned with the control of metabolism of carbohydrate, fat, and protein, small amount of sex hormones, which probably play a role in prepubertal development of sex organs. The medulla of suprarenal gland secrete the catecholamines, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. The suprarenal gland of the fetus is 10 to 12 times larger than the adult gland relative to the body weight and a large compared with the kidney. This is because of extensive size of fetal cortex. The medulla remains relatively small until after birth. The suprarenal gland rapidly becomes smaller during the first 2/3 weeks after birth due to rapid regression of the fetal cortex. Its involution is largely completed in the first year of life. During the process of involution, the cortex is friable and susceptible to trauma at birth, leading to severe hemorrhage. Congenital adrenal hyperplasia and abnormal increase in the cortical cells result in excessive androgen production during the fetal period. In females, it may lead to muscularization of external genitalia and enlargement of clitoris. In males, it may remain undetected in early infancy. Later in childhood, in both sexes, androgen excess may lead to rapid growth and accelerated skeletal maturation. So, this is all about kidney and suprarenal gland. Thank you.